Microsoft and Google both announced updates on their AI consumer tools, while it appears that a new ChatGPT feature has just leaked. Welcome back to the AI Breakdown Brief, all the AI headline news you need in 5 minutes or less. We kick off today with a leak that was shared on Reddit. And I will say before getting into this that we should caveat that, of course, this is just a leak. There isn't a lot of sourcing. But this is a Reddit user who previously leaked the chat sharing feature, which did come to fruition, so make of that what you will. The screenshot shared is for something called Workspace. It includes fields for files and for profile. Under files, it seems to suggest that uploading files will soon be available. And under profile, it says add any information that you'd like ChatGPT to remember about you and your preferences. Now, many people's first thought is that this is part of an upcoming enterprise suite. We know that ChatGPT is interested in the business use case. They've already announced that there will be a business version coming, although all that we know about that version so far is that it will be private by default and is meant to answer concerns that many enterprises have about ChatGPT training their models on their proprietary information. To the extent that Workspace is a collaborative tool for teams or companies, it would make sense as an area that ChatGPT might want to expand into, just given how many people already use it for business use cases. Next up, we move to updates that are in fact confirmed. On June 9th, Microsoft announced that they were adding voice chat on desktop for Bing Chatbot. Their announcement post reads, "We know many of you love using voice input for chat on mobile. It's now available on desktop by clicking on the microphone icon in the Bing chat box." Currently, Microsoft Bing Voice Chat supports 5 languages. Now, in a recent video, Microsoft Bing said that there are more than 100 million daily users of the chatbot. And in addition to this new voice chat feature for desktop, they've also announced enhanced visuals, citations, graphic-centric answers, more image creating, chat history export, third-party plugins, multimodality, and more. Citations are an interesting choice for them to move into, given that this is something that other chatbots like Perplexity have seen some success in when it comes to how they're differentiating from other tools like ChatGPT and Bing Chat. Chart and graph generation seem designed to get out ahead of ChatGPT's upcoming code interpreter plugin, which many people are anxiously awaiting. And of course, as we've discussed numerous times, it's very clear where these chatbots and LLMs are heading, which is firmly in the direction of multimodality. As Vinny Mora puts it, Bing Chat will understand images as well as text, allowing users to upload images and search the web for related content, such as step-by-step instructions for a craft project based on an uploaded image. Now, of course, a big part of the reason that Microsoft is trying to move so fast with their Bing chat experience is that Google's Search Generative Experience, or SGE, is coming right down the pipe as well. On June 8th, Google Search Liaison tweeted, "2 weeks ago, we started opening up access to SGE. Since then, we've made a number of quality updates, including a major improvement that reduces the time it takes to generate AI snapshots by half. We hope everyone testing it out enjoys the speedier experience." Now, this is a more important update than it maybe even seems at first, given that many people's reactions to this first version of the SGE was that it was too slow. Sure enough, here's The Verge saying Google's AI-powered search experience is way too slow. Why wait for an AI-generated summary when I can just scroll down the page? Now, the interesting thing that The Verge is pointing out here implicitly is that the AI-generated search experience is competing with the efficacy of the traditional search experience that we already know. And to do so, there's not just a content consideration, but also a speed consideration. Now, it also appears that Google might be getting ready to roll out the search generative experience to a larger group, given that they've been releasing content such as this YouTube short that's playing now about how people can sign up for access. If all of this screams AI arms race to you, you're not alone. However, the CEO of Google is trying to shift that narrative. Sundar Pichai sat down with Bloomberg Businessweek and tried to suggest that Google has been positioning for the AI rush for a long time and that they weren't going to get caught up in some sort of inexorable tit for tat that leads them to do things that are unsafe. For example, when Bloomberg asked, "Does Google see this as an existential competition?" Sundar said, "It's a competitive moment, but I've built the company to be AI native for a long time. I feel better positioned for this than we were for the shift to mobile." Bloomberg also asked, "You've said tech companies must take care not to see AI as just a race, but there's a very real sprint to market at Google and elsewhere. What are you doing to make sure ethics don't fall by the wayside?" Sundar said, "We've been cautious. There are areas where we've chosen not to be the first to put a product out. We've set up good structures around responsible AI. You will continue to see us take our time." Of course, the context, at least a little bit for some of these statements, is former Googler Geoffrey Hinton now being out on a media tour saying that he's worried that Google, the company that he worked for over a decade after selling his startup to them, was no longer exercising this sort of prudence because of the growing financial pressure to compete with startups like OpenAI as well as established players like Microsoft. And to the extent that regulation is a part of the answer to whatever AI arms race does exist, different jurisdictions around the world are positioning themselves to be leaders in exactly that. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who before becoming Prime Minister said that he wanted Britain to be the head of Web3, is now pitching Britain as the perfect place to anchor global AI regulation. At a recent London Tech Week conference, he said, "I want to make the UK not just the intellectual home, but the geographical home of global AI safety regulation." At the same event, his finance minister, Jeremy Hunt, said, "I would like this country to be a force for good in making sure these are set in a way that means that technology can really benefit everyone." Meanwhile, in the US, on Thursday of last week, 2 new bipartisan bills were introduced that deal with different aspects of AI. Interestingly, neither of them is big, comprehensive legislation. Instead, they are very discrete and specific. To be honest, that probably means that their sponsors actually want them to go through, as big banner comprehensive legislation is often just flag planting for the people who sponsor the bills, versus something that actually has a chance to make it through, at least in any sort of short order. Of the 2 bills introduced last week, one is focused on US government transparency, requiring the US government to be clear when it's using AI to interact with people, and the other is focused on global competitiveness, establishing a US office to determine if the United States is remaining competitive when it comes to AI. You'll remember last week we reported that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has scheduled 3 hearings upcoming for the Senate around AI, with the third being a classified hearing for a small group of senators only. So far, those hearings do not have a date. All right, friends, that is it for the AI Breakdown Brief. If you're enjoying this, please like, subscribe, and share. Remember, you can get it as a newsletter at the AIBreakdown.beehive.com. That's BEEHIIV, and I will be back soon with the main AI Breakdown.